My name is Mr. Schweitzer, and I'm here today to give you a little bit of information about beaker tongs and a crucible tongs. First of all, a couple of things here before we get started on the beaker tongs is what's a beaker? Well, this is a beaker. A beaker is probably the number one piece of or tool that you would use in a lab. So on a beaker you'll see various degrees of measurement. Just so you know, these are very rough measurements. If you wanted an exact amount of water, a very close amount of water, a very accurate amount of water, you would use a different device. You would never use a beaker for a very specific measurement of amount of liquid. A graduated cylinder, a graduate pipette, other ways of getting a certain amount of liquid. This is just for rough measurements only. Quite often we'd say these are drawn by monkeys. Meaning they're not very accurate. So just if you need just a certain amount of water just to boil or do something very vague with, then you'd use these markings. Otherwise, buyer beware. Okay. But if you're using it and there's some liquid in there, how would you transport this thing? Well, if it's cold, you could just pick it up with your hands. And your fingers work quite well in this sense. Got the old opposing thumb, works great. But what if it's hot, which happens a lot? We have a device here called a beaker tongs. The beaker tongs are, it's got a rubberized end, and this is designed to fit a beaker, and it works very well. You could pour with this. You could pick it up off of a Bunsen burner. It could even be quite warm. Careful when you're moving it. Obviously, anything we want to be careful, but in this sense, it moves very well. Beaker tongs, beaker. It might seem quite strange that we need to talk about a beaker tongs working with a beaker. The reason why is we have another type of tongs called a crucible tongs. Now, crucible is this device here, essentially a little cup, okay, a small little cup used to burn things in. So it can be hot as well. Very often it's hot. Sometimes we even want to weigh it. We don't want to wait for it to cool off, so we'll weigh it when it's hot. So the way I transport this is if it's cold, I use my fingers, but if it's hot, I'll set it down on my paper here, or on the counter, even better yet. Take my crucible tongs and just slide under them and then just pick it up. I could put it all the way, it doesn't matter if this is all the way together or not, I'm just going to pick it up. And then set it down on wherever, and there you go. I don't necessarily want to see someone picking it up like this. Okay? So, in this case, what would happen if you try and use a beaker tongs, or shall I say a crucible tongs, on a beaker? Well, this is the main problem, is that sometimes it works. If it never worked, well, then people will learn quite quickly this is not something that's obviously is not going to work. But sometimes, yes, it might work, but it can also end poorly for you. So, if there's some hot scalding liquid here, we don't want to take a chance that it's going to slide out or fall. It's just not something we want to take that chance. I do not want to see a person using crucible tongs on a beaker. Okay, the beaker tongs work marvelously well, and we want to use this. Thank you.